welcome. Our first guest tonight is Councillor here in Salem, Domingo Dominguez. He is running for state rep to take over the seat that's being vacated by Paul Tucker. Welcome, Councillor Dominguez. We look forward to hearing from you. So yeah, as general, I'll give you a few minutes or as long as you'd like to talk, and then we'll have a few minutes for questions after that. And yeah, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Democratic Party here in Salem. Before I start my little speech, I wanted to mention that I've been a Democrat all my life, even since I moved to the United States. In my country, we had 3 or 4 parties, and the one that is lined up more with the Democrat is the one that all my family, even since I have knowledge to be part of. So I'm a Democrat. I'm very honored today to be in front of you guys and bring you a little bit about my intention to fill this seat of state representative currently held by a great state rep, Paul Tucker. I'm going to try, if I get elected, to continue the same passion and hard work that he put into, and make sure that I collaborate with others in the State House and other senators like John Lovely, who actually is being one of the more visible and work leader that we've seen in the latest time in history here in Salem. I just wanted to quickly give you a little bit of my campaign platform. If I get elected, I would like to focus on a few topics, and I will try to accomplish, if I get elected, in those areas the most I can. The first one that I want to mention is education. And I had that on top of my list because as a former teacher and as a parent of 7 wonderful children and 4 grandchildren, for me, education is personal. I want to make sure that we continue to make sure that education continue to advance and prepare our kids to the next generation so they can be ready for the future. I also wanted to make sure that our teachers and the administration and everyone involved with education have all of the important tools that they need in order for them to do the work that they need to do. I also think, our teachers and the education professional need to be fully into what they know best, which is education. As a state representative, if I get elected, I will work hard to continue to bring the resources and the funding that are necessary so they can continue to do the work they need, and our school can be improved at the better level that we can. Second topic that I have in my platform is the environment. Climate change is here. It is real. It's happening. We need to do something about it. We need to make sure that we are doing it in a way that is affordable for everyone. Right now, I think there is not really affordable for everyone. We need to make sure that we make it easy for everyone so we can bring the tools necessary so everybody join the effort that we're doing here. In Salem, we have started passing and discussing some of the ordinance to help. The conversation is already in place about the short winds. We need to invest in renewable energy, clean and electrical energy. And on the state level, if I get elected, I will be lobbying and reaching out to other legislation so we can have new laws in the book to help alleviate the real issue. We also need to focus on those who are polluting the environment. We need to punish those organizations or those groups that are doing it. I think that we need to put some type of fee, so when people do pollute the environment, they see that there are consequences. We need to move away from fossil fuel, and we need to try to reduce the carbon footprint. I also will support clean energy to protect our air quality. So it also can be helpful in reducing some of the harmful air emissions associated with burning of fossil fuel. I will continue to support such initiatives as a wind and solar power conservation, and I will also will support the development of electrical or motor vehicle. I think that's very important at this point that we focus on those type of actions in order for us to have a very good environment. The other topic that I have is job and economic. As we know, we facing a very difficult moment economic-wise, not only for this state of Massachusetts, in the whole United States. I think that we need to focus on the economic and on the job and continue to work hard to make sure that we be prepared for what is next in our economy. In particular, here in Salem, we see how throughout the years we lost many of the manufacturing jobs that we used to have here in Salem. As a state rep, I will be advocating for Salem to be the place where a job, good job, union job, can hopefully find home here in Salem. We need to build that community that Salem built in the past. We need to attract good paying jobs that will attract the middle class to live here in Salem. The other topic that is on top of my list, which is, I think, is a human issue, is housing. I like to see real affordable housing that fit here in Salem. I think the housing is a crisis as it is right now. Not only here in Salem, but in many communities, we see how many people are displaced because they cannot afford to live where they wanted to live because of the high cost of housing. I think that the conversation is also in there. I think we hear in the last meeting in the City Council with a lot of good conversation in which I'm very happy to support. And I will be working hardly along with my colleagues and any other who join effort to try to pass something that really alleviate that situation. I also wanted to touch a little bit on, in terms of housing, that I will be supporting the developer South Salem University. I think that we need to at least have the conversation so we can create some type of housing that really fit the need, just like we had here in Rainbow Terrace. We had in other complex that we haven't built for so long. I think that we can, together with the private sector, the government, and the local government, we can stay in local government. We can find a formula to try to fit something that really alleviate the situation on housing. The next one on top of my list is about the seniors. I'm very close to the senior population. The fact that I'm almost getting there, but the fact that many of my relatives already in that same situation, many of the more vulnerable population are in there, we need to continue to address our seniors. They deserve to have a better quality of life. And if I get elected, I will be advocating for them. And I will also make sure that I join effort with any other legislator who are in the same page. I don't want to be too long in any deeply issues. I have other in my list. I can talk to you maybe for an hour or so, but this is not my intention. My intention is to bring to everyone the attention that if I get elected, I will be listening to the people. I will be addressing their concern, like always I haven't done it before as a city councilor at large. And I also will be able to continue to be involved. We have leaders locally and at the state level who are very involved, and I wanted to continue to do the same. I also believe that we, as a leader, need to continue to work together, make sure that we agree to disagree, make sure that the fact that we are elected, meaning that we have to make sure that we hear both sides of the question, And if I, by any chance, don't agree with any one of my colleagues, that doesn't mean that I'm not doing my work. I'm doing my work in a way that I find a different view, which in some occasion might be in different direction, but that doesn't mean that my view isn't really what I represent. Based on that, in the fact that the view that I bring to the table is not my own view, it's the view of a group of people who frequently are not able to be in the table to speak. So I will be, as I always be, a person who put my ear in the people and bring the issue to the table and try to bring it so we can, as a leaders, as an elected official, as a state representative in this case, work with my colleagues to try to find a common ground and deliver some answers for the people who are elected us to be in that position. Lastly, I wanted to, again, thank you. I wanted to continue to work with the group, such a group that I think are doing a great job. We are very fortunate to live in a state, I used to say, that eventually advance in many of the things that really care about people. We wanted to continue, I wanted to continue to do the same. I'm the type of person that I'm not really too into politics, but I'm more a community-based person in which, like I said before, my intention is to continue to listen to the people. Thank you once again for this great opportunity. I know this is not a pitch to try to gain any vote. I just want to make sure that you understand that I'm here for you, and I always be one of you. I always be a Democrat, and I will be a Democrat all my life. This is my values are involved in there. I believe in everything that the Democratic Party is putting in place. As a elected official, as a person, as a community activist, and I wanted to see the continuation of the work together on this. I think that we have fine candidates in every level that we have, and I think that everybody had a chance to express themselves and to project who they are. I will also make clear that I bring my case to the people, bring my case to the residents of Salem, the voters, and they are the ones that make the decision. If I'm fortunate enough for people to vote for me, I'd be happy to continue to work with everyone, regardless of they support me or not support me. I am a very clear mind, understanding that in the case that I get elected, I had to govern for everyone. I had to represent everyone fairly. So thank you so much for this great opportunity. And let's continue the meetings. And I'm looking forward to continue to hear from you. If there is any question you have for me, I'd be happy to answer. If you don't have the opportunity to ask the question because of time limitation, you can always reach out to me throughout my social media, throughout my email, throughout my phone, or in any other meetings that we see each other, because I'm everywhere. I'm trying to be everywhere. So don't hesitate to contact me. This is me who I am. I'm very open to get into conversation and meet with anyone that wanted to meet with me in any subject, regardless of what hard or how difficult might be this subject. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Councillor. Let's see, remove the spotlight here, and I see our first question for you is from Jeff Cohen. So let's take it away, Jeff.
Thank you, Chris, and thanks for coming to the meeting, Domingo. I base my votes on actions and not words, and I want to address something that you brought up in your introduction, which is affordable housing. It's two things that you voted on as a councillor. I'd like to see if you could answer my concern. So a couple of years ago, inclusionary zoning was before the council, and it failed. It needed a supermajority. It failed 7 votes for and 4 against. You were one of the votes against. Inclusionary zoning would have enhanced, if it passed 2 years ago, it would have meant for a lot more affordable housing to be built in Salem. The other one is Leaford Terrace. Leaford Terrace, I invited to the CERC, Sustainability and Resiliency Committee, twice. I believe it's the most resilient and sustainable project ever proposed in Salem. In addition to that, it's taking 52 senior and disabled units, affordable units, and expanding to 124. Everyone who lives there will be able to come back when the building is done. And our council voted to have a home rule petition by the legislature that would only enable the project to move forward. It wouldn't define any rules. And the vote was 10-1, and you were the one vote against. So if you could explain why you voted against inclusionary zoning and also against the home rule petition for Lee Ford Terrace, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. I appreciate your question, Jeff Cohen, and I want to make sure that you and everyone hear my part when I say my decision on voting is based on my homework that I do out there. Inclusionary zoning, when it first came in front of us, we hear a lot of concern in many cases. Let me make clear that my decisions are not based on my own belief or any idea in the air. It's based on what I hear from most people involved, people who are in the more affected one. At the moment the inclusionary zoning came in front of us was not really deeply explained, and it was a lot of concern. We hear a lot of people oppose. If you do your research, you're going to find out. And now you're in the city council, you will find out that you receive a lot of email. If you do your due diligence, you're going to go to the voters, and they will tell you exactly what are their concerns. Based on that, I made my decision. My decision was based on the majority of people that I reached out, that they was not comfortable with being in front of the city council at that moment. Meaning by that I'm not against inclusionary zoning. I was against the process at that moment that needs more discussion and more education so people understand exactly what's going on. Most of the things that I voted yes or no, in this case, when I voted negative, is because the explanation are not there so people do not understand what's going on. And that was the case in that one. But we can discuss more deeply into this inclusionary zoning. I don't have all of the details in my hand, but we can go line by line. And I can tell you some of the concern that people had at that moment based on what we had in front of us. Lee Ford Terrace, the same situation. I went to Lee Ford Terrace when the case came in front of us. I met with so many individuals one-on-one, not in a public scenario, in a scenario where they can talk to me, and many people expressed their concern. Most of the concern that we hear about Lee Ford Terrace is that what's going to happen with the people that we're going to displace. Some people there feel that they, at that moment, when it's come to us, that they don't have no guarantee that they will be replaced. The process on Lee Ford Terrace is advancing now, in which more education and more information are there. Many people are feel now more into what we presented, but it is a working process idea that need to be in the public, and the public need to understand it first. And we need to make sure that we have all of the detail before we formulate any decision. And sometimes what we see in our government is that we wanted to expressly pass something without the details. And sometimes when we realize it's too late for people to make change. So I'm very careful when I vote. And I take that very seriously because I feel the same. I feel if I make any decision based on the fact that I'm in the seat to make the decision, and that decision was not the right one, the consequence is going to be on people that I feel the same way that I treat my family. I treat every vote the same way. I make sure that every decision that I make, I with all of the thought in my head. So if that answers your question, if no, I can sit down with you or any other one and can go with the detail. I find my notes and I can bring you my answer.
So let's see, we got time for 2 more questions. So I see Chris Fuccione has his hand raised, and then I have a question in the chat from James Davis. So Chris, I'll let you go, and then I will give James's answer, unless James, you would like to say it, in which case you can. But yeah, so Chris, take it away.
Hi, first, thank you for running and thank you for your service to the city. And thank you for coming up tonight. I have a quick question. With the Roe versus Wade decision being struck down by the Supreme Court, what's your views on trying to protect women that are coming from other states to get abortions? And what's your views on ways to protect abortion rights here in Massachusetts? Thank you.
That's a great question. I formulate my position on social media. First of all, I wanted to say, and I want to make this clear, human rights and human issues are cannot be polarized. That's one of the issues that I have. I'm not a person that I try to take advantage of in favor or against any issue. So that's why many people haven't seen me out there trying to campaign or make any case and try to gain momentum or try to gain any vote. Because for me, I think this is very serious. I have 3 daughters. I come from a mother, and I think that those human rights, in this case for women, are very, very important. It's simple to answer your question. What I would do, I will join effort with the legislators who are in the same path to try to protect any health and human rights that we had in place. In this case, had to do with abortion. I'd be in that action altogether with them. I'm in favor to protect human rights, in this case, women's rights.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Let's see. So next would be James. I'll let you take it away, James.
Thanks, Chris, and thank you, Domingo, for spending some time with us this evening. So my question was around education. First and foremost, I just posted a link in the chat. I don't know if people can see it, but I just recently read this book called Cutting School. It's really interesting. It's all about the privatization of education and the history behind that, and it was just an interesting read. So specifically, I just am curious what your viewpoint on the public school system is here in Salem, how you think about resource allocation for that. You gave us some rhetoric around how important you feel education is, but you know, when push comes to shove, we want to make sure that our public school systems aren't getting their resources pulled from them to go to other places. So how do you feel about that, and what's your overall opinion on the charter school system?
Thank you, Jen. That's a great question. I feel completely very identified with the resources to be spent on public school. I mentioned before, I'm a product of public school, but I also was a teacher of public school, and I have my children already graduated from Salem Public School. Salem Public School is doing a great job, but I think we can do better. We need to have better funding increasingly and make sure that we progress. As it is right now, I feel that this is my own opinion, and I base my opinion on my experience as a teacher. We need to make sure that we have more resources into the classroom to make sure that our teachers have the tools necessary to teach. We need to separate a little bit of the political priority that we hear on education to make sure that everybody focus on it. We need to try to make sure that the administration who are hired to administer our educators do their job and let the teacher do their job at the same time. I feel that we need to continue to work on the level of education that our kids had when they graduated from high school, and we need to make sure that we provide tools and options so they can, if they decided not to go to college, they can be prepared in any type of trade or profession so they can continue to advance in life. Those aspects for me are important. Also, early education needs to be addressed. We need to focus and we need to bring more effort to try to put early education in place so we can have the whole component of education not completely. We know that early education is fundamental because at the early that our children get into school, the better would be in the long run so they can finish strong. So early education help a lot. It also help in the economy, help parents, help in the socioeconomical environment that we are. So early education is a component that we need to focus on. So I'm not a proponent of getting any resources to be diverse to any other type of education. I think that we need to sit down with charter school, public education, and try to make a whole education system that work for everybody, in which everybody we see the quality of education that our children necessarily need in order to advance in life.
Thank you, Councillor Domingo. I think that is it for questions. We're out of time right now. So I believe as you said, if anybody has any more questions or like to follow up further, they can reach you on social media, right?
Correct.
Do you have a preference for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
It doesn't matter. I have my of the platform open up, but they can also reach out my phone. Cell phone is there. I can give you use 978-815-1089. I can meet one-on-one in person if you want to. Either way you want, but I'm very open. Thank you. So much.
If you want to drop your email and however you would prefer people to contact you on the chat, and then people can take that with them for sure.
We do right now.
Thank you so much.